Alright. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, the Wizard Den is back. I'm here. I'm going to speak on expectations and results. How results will manifest, how they come into being, and how that varies. Okay. Now, it will vary depending upon what you ask for and the difficulty of the request. If you ask for something that takes a lot of energy, it's going to take time. A lot of times, people will ask for psychic abilities and expect that, their request will be answered in that exact moment. All of a sudden, they get a burst of psychic potential and abilities. And that is not the case. That is not how that manifests. If anybody says so, they are lying. And you can tell a LARPer from a real magician real quick if they say that's how they gain their abilities. Okay? Your abilities are going to be granted to you over time. It will manifest slowly, gradually, but it will be granted to you as long as you're working with the correct spirit. Another thing, always work with the correct corresponding spirit for your request. You can't go to, Belith or Balaam and ask them for psychic abilities when they work with money and love. You can't go to Zagan asking for, which is a spirit that does alchemy, works on the inner self, and then ask him for a new car or a new job. He can, change you to better be able to go and grab that thing yourself, be able to attain it yourself, but he will not be able to magically make it appear for you. Now, moving on, like I was saying, manifestation of your request. If you ask for the destruction of laziness, again, most results take time, but something like that, depending on who you ask, can come rather quickly. For me, I had used that a little while back. I'm a perfectionist, and I am a little bit harsh on myself. I was using magic, doing invocations 3 times a week. I wanted to boost it up to 5, but I found I would feel not drained, but just lazy was how I felt. I felt lazy. I felt like I wasn't living up to my full potential. And so I did a ritual with King Paimon and Haginti, and it manifested in different manners. With Haginti, I noticed motivation. I noticed a bit of a charge. With King Paimon, I felt an urge. I felt a pull to, as soon as I thought about doing a ritual, doing an invocation, and then I didn't do it. It was as if I was craving a cigarette, craving drugs, and I was an addict. I had an addiction to magic, and I had to fill my craving. And it's actually quite delightful. But it goes to show that one may answer your request in one manner, and another will answer your request in a different manner altogether. Now, this is quite normal. Somebody like AIM will give you creativity, and so will Astaroth. Astaroth will give you prolific creativity, but AIM will give you a passion-induced creativity. You will be creative because of your passion for what you're doing. An inner love and, there's a word I'm looking for I can't think of, but, you'll be driven. Almost as if I was, like I was speaking on about the King Paimon result. You'll feel that addiction craving to fulfill. And it's going to manifest quite differently. So keep in mind when you're looking at these spirits, what other things that they work with. That way you can understand how they will answer your request, how your request will be fulfilled. It is always going to be a little bit different, varying upon which spirit you work with. Say you want to work on psychic abilities. Like I was saying earlier, it is not something that is going to come immediately. It is something that is going to be given over time. Now, Hecate and somebody like the Lepetore are going to work completely differently. Where the Lepetore is going to give you abilities and maybe tap into already hidden potential, and you will gain abilities that way, right? Giving access to. Hecate is a road opener kind of spirit with keys, a gate opener. She will open the gate, open the road, the paths in between to give you access to your psychic abilities. They both get you the same thing, but different ways. This also comes to be helpful to perform the ritual twice. Because if you get the same thing two different ways, you are now getting it from two different directions. But it is better to give it time in between, okay? You never want to do your ritual and then go and do the other ritual. You don't want them working on top of each other. It's not beneficial to do that. They will begin to interrupt each other, so to speak, and it's going to interrupt your manifestation. So my biggest information I'm dropping here is to be patient, okay? Be steady and patient. Also, be very intuitive. Feel what you think you need. Feel out what spirit you think will better answer your request and manifest it the way that you would like it to be manifested, the way you would like it to be fulfilled. Because the same request can be fulfilled three different directions, three different ways, manners. So it's always good to look into everything fully. Actually get a grasp of what you're working with and what you're looking at. And another thing, when you're asking for something, are you really asking for what you think you're asking for? What is it that you're craving on a deeper level? It may be money that you're asking for, but is it money or is it financial freedom? Do you not want to be stressed out and worried about being evicted? Stuff like that. Not having a place to live. That's different than wanting money. You're wanting freedom from worry. So it might also be beneficial to you to eliminate worry. So always take into consideration, look deeper than the surface level. That was a bad example, but you get what I'm trying to say. There's always a hidden meaning behind everything. So get used to reflecting before just asking. Also, so that's basically all I have to say. Just understand that nothing is instant. Energy moves. Energy has to be moved from one area to another. Energy never dies or gets created. Energy fluctuates. Energy already is, always was, and will be. Energy is just moved and transformed from one state of energy into another, okay? Money does the same thing. It'll move from one place to another. So when you ask for money, it has to come from somewhere and have a path in order to get to you from, okay? So you have to almost work with it to do money magic. Money magic usually doesn't work because people don't take that into consideration. You need a path for this money to come to you in fruition through. The only time you can really do money magic without a path is with Ram. R-A-U-M. Ram, the way that he works is like the animal that he is depicted as. Ravens. I don't know if you've ever seen a raven bring money to a person, but they do that. They bring gifts to their, their owner or their savior, whoever